so we want to demonstrate the movie technique. Now, do you have a memory that we can give a title to that is just a short memory?
Yes.
Okay.
As in anywhere or?
Yep, anything that is a trauma.
Okay, yes.
What's the title you want to give it?
Sexual abuse.
Okay. And when you say that title, where do you feel it in your body?
My stomach goes into a knot.
Okay. And when you say that title, sexual abuse, what is it out of 10?
20.
Yeah, that's pretty high. All right. Even though I've got this 20 out of 10, repeat after me.
Even though I've got this 20 out of 10.
Sexual abuse memory.
Sexual abuse memory.
And there's a big knot in my stomach.
And there's a huge knot in my stomach.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
And my body.
And my body.
Deeply and completely.
Deeply and completely.
Even though I've got this sexual abuse memory.
Even though I've been sexually abused.
I've got this sexual abuse memory.
Even though I've got this sexually abused memory.
And I feel like a huge knot in my stomach.
I feel like I've got a huge knot in my stomach.
This 20 out of 10 feeling.
This 20 out of 10 feeling.
Look at me. I accept myself.
I accept myself.
Deeply and completely.
Deeply and completely.
Even though I've got this movie title.
Even though I've got this movie title.
Sexual abuse.
Sexual abuse.
And it's 20 out of 10.
And it's 20 out of 10.
And it's a huge knot in my stomach.
It's a huge knot in my stomach.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
Deeply and completely.
Deeply and completely.
Look at me. This huge knot in my stomach.
This huge knot in my stomach.
Sexual abuse movie.
Sexual abuse movie.
Sexual abuse movie in my stomach.
Sexual abuse movie in my stomach.
This sexual abuse movie in my stomach.
Sexual abuse movie in my stomach.
It's a huge knot in my stomach.
It's a huge knot in my stomach.
Processing and releasing this huge knot in my stomach.
Process and releasing this huge knot in my stomach.
It's time to deal with this movie title.
It's time to deal with this movie title.
This sexual abuse movie title.
This sexual abuse movie title.
Looking at me, this sexual abuse movie title.
This sexual abuse movie title.
This big, huge knot in my stomach.
This huge knot in my stomach.
Processing and releasing this huge knot in my stomach.
Process and releasing the huge knot in my stomach.
Did you bring your water along with you?
I'm out.
Out? Can someone bring some water along, please? Because I want you to be drinking water while you're doing this at the same time. So when you think about the movie title by itself now, thank you.
Cheers.
The movie title, Sexual Abuse. Mm-hmm. Is that still a huge knot in your stomach? Is it still 20 out of 10 or has it come down?
It's come down.
What's it come down to?
I'd say a 10 out of 10.
Okay. That's good. We're getting down to just full 10 out of 10 now. Well done.
Yeah, that was from here to here. Now it's like from here to here.
Okay, so it's shrunk. Good. So what is that here to here shape in your body?
Feels very heavy, like a big, heavy rock.
Okay. So even though I've got this 10 out of 10 movie title.
Even though I've got this 10 out of 10 movie title.
This sexual abuse movie.
This sexual abuse movie.
And it feels like a heavy rock in my stomach.
And it feels like a heavy rock in my stomach.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
And my body.
And my body.
Deeply and completely.
Deeply and completely.
Even though I've got this movie title.
Even though I've got this movie title.
Sexual abuse.
Sexual abuse.
And it feels like a heavy rock in my stomach. There's a release. A release. And it feels like a heavy rock in my stomach.
It feels like a heavy rock in my stomach.
I thank my body.
I thank my body.
To process and release it.
To process and release it.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
Deeply and completely.
Deeply and completely.
Even though I've still got this movie title.
Even though I've still got this movie title.
Sexual abuse.
Sexual abuse.
This heavy rock in my stomach.
It's not a heavy rock now, it's just nausea.
This nausea in my stomach.
Yeah, it's nausea in my stomach.
Thanking my body for processing it and letting it go.
Thank you, my body, for processing it and letting it go.
I accept myself deeply and completely.
I accept myself deeply and completely.
This movie title. Big releases already. This movie title.
This movie title.
Sexual abuse.
Sexual abuse.
This movie title, sexual abuse.
This movie title, sexual abuse.
Processing and releasing the nausea in my stomach.
Process and releasing the nausea in my stomach.
This movie title, sexual abuse.
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 Processing it and releasing it.
Process and releasing it.
This movie title, sexual abuse.
This movie title, sexual abuse.
So a big breath and another mouthful of water if you need it. So you could see the big releases as well as we were going. Can everyone see all the way around there? If you want to move around a bit more. Okay, so the actual title of the movie now, sexual abuse. What's that come down to now? Out of 10.
Maybe an 8.
Mm-hmm. And how are you feeling that 8 in your body?
I feel like the big heavy rock's just gone to a fist.
Okay.
It's
Yep. A fist. So even though I've got this 8 out of 10,
even though I've got this 8 out of 10.
movie title, sexual abuse,
Movie title, sexual abuse.
and it feels like a fist in my stomach,
And it feels like a fist in my stomach.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and my body
and my body
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
Even though I've still got this movie title,
Even though I've still got this movie title.
it's 8 out of 10,
It's 8 out of 10.
feels like a fist in my stomach,
Feels like a fist in my stomach.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and my body
and my body
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
Even though I've still got this sexual abuse movie,
Even though I've still got this sexual abuse movie.
and it still feels like a fist in my stomach,
And it still feels like a fist in my stomach.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and my body
and my body
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
This fist in my stomach,
This fist in my stomach,
sexual abuse movie,
sexual abuse movie,
my body's processing it.
my body's processing it.
This title, sexual abuse.
This title, sexual abuse.
This title, sexual abuse.
This title, sexual abuse.
This fist in my stomach,
This fist in my stomach,
processing it and letting it go.
processing and letting it go.
This movie title,
This movie title,
sexual abuse.
sexual abuse.
This fist in my stomach.
This fist in my stomach.
So take a deep breath in. And what's that come down to now?
Guilt.
But we're still doing just this, the movie title,
Mm-hmm.
sexual abuse, so there's guilt there.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think of the title, sexual abuse, what's that come down to?
5.
And how do you know that 5's there?
It feels like the knot's still there, but it's not squeezing. It feels
So
like
it's loosened.
It's loosened.
Yes. Good. I like the way you're very physical with your visualizations. Some people aren't that good at it, but you've got a great visual ability as well as kinesthetic. So it's good to notice what your clients have got, whether they're very, very visual or not, and what methods to go into. So even though I've still got this fist in my stomach,
Even still, I've got this fist in my stomach.
that's starting to loosen now,
That's starting to loosen now.
this guilt in my stomach,
This guilt in my stomach.
when I think about the movie title, sexual abuse,
When I think about the movie title, sexual abuse,
I accept myself
I accept myself
and my body
and my body
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
Even though I still have some guilt trapped in my stomach,
Even though I still have some guilt trapped in my stomach,
this fist that's loosening,
this fist that's loosening,
when I think about the movie title,
when I think about the movie title,
sexual abuse,
sexual abuse,
I accept myself
I accept myself
and my body
and my body
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
Even though I've still got this fist in my stomach,
Even though I've still got this fist in my stomach,
this guilt that's loosening,
this guilt that's splattered.
splattered,
Would be a better word. It feels like it's dispersing.
this guilt that's dispersing,
Yeah,
I accept myself,
I accept myself.
even when I think about the movie title,
Even when I think about the movie title,
sexual abuse,
sexual abuse,
I accept myself and my body
I accept myself and my body
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
This dispersing feeling in my stomach,
this dispersing feeling in my stomach,
this dispersing guilt.
this dispersing guilt.
When I think about the movie title,
When I think about the movie title,
sexual abuse,
sexual abuse,
it's already dispersing
it's already well and truly dispersed
out of my stomach.
out of my stomach.
Maybe even the guilt has too.
I'm getting it's not my fault.
See the cognitive shift already? We're only on the title.
Yeah, I'm getting it wasn't my fault.
So when you tap on the charge of the guilt, there's the cognitive shift. It wasn't my fault. Great. It wasn't my fault. Say that out loud.
It wasn't my fault.
This movie title, sexual abuse.
This movie title, sexual abuse.
So take a deep breath. So when you think of just the movie title now, sexual abuse, what's that come down to now out of 10?
It's still there. I'd say a 3 or a 4. I'm feeling anger.
Okay, where is it, that anger?
Back in my tummy again.
Okay. Even though I've still got some anger,
Even though I've still got some anger,
it's 3 or 4 anger in my stomach.
it's 3 or 4 anger in my stomach.
When I think of the movie title, sexual abuse,
When I think of the movie title, sexual abuse,
I accept myself
I accept myself
and my body
and my body
and the way it's processing this.
and the way it's processing this.
I accept myself deeply and completely.
I accept myself deeply and completely.
Even though I've got some anger in my tummy,
Even though I've got a lot of anger in my tummy,
when I think about this movie title,
when I think about this movie title or just sexual abuse,
I accept myself
I accept myself
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
Even though I've got a lot of anger in my tummy,
Even though I've got a lot of anger in my tummy,
when I think about this sexual abuse,
when I think about the sexual abuse,
I accept myself
I accept myself
and my tummy
and my tummy
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
I've got a lot of anger in my tummy.
I've got a lot of anger in my tummy.
When I think about this movie,
When I think about this movie,
this sexual abuse title,
this sexual abuse title,
all the anger in my tummy,
all the anger in my tummy,
giving my tummy permission to release it.
giving my tummy permission to release it.
All this anger in my tummy,
All this anger in my tummy,
processing it and letting it go.
processing and letting it go.
It's gone,
Whack!
isn't it? Whack, it's gone. What would you like to put there in its place? Peace. Releasing all this anger out of my tummy.
Releasing all this anger out of my tummy.
It doesn't belong there.
It doesn't belong there.
Even when I think about sexual abuse.
Even when I think about sexual abuse.
Sending my tummy peace.
Sending my tummy peace.
What colour is peace for you?
Have to be purple.
This purple or this purple? So keep tapping. Sending my tummy
Sending my tummy
this beautiful purple peace.
this beautiful purple piece.
Breathing it in and sending it to my tummy.
Breathing it in and sending it to my tummy.
Allowing my tummy to feel peace.
Allowing my tummy to feel peace.
As I release any remaining anger
As I release any remaining anger
that was trapped there,
that was trapped there.
what's going on? What's the frowning for? It's knotting.
Yeah, it's nodding.
Okay. And why is it nodding? Does your tummy not believe it can have peace or it deserves peace? What's your tummy? What's the emotion? What's that cramping?
Scared.
Scared. Okay.
Scared.
Okay. Back to the karate chop point because it's a new aspect. Even though I've got fear, is that what it is? Fear? I've got this scared feeling. I use her words. Even though I've got this scared feeling
I've got this scared feeling
trapped in my tummy,
trapped in my tummy,
like knots,
like knots.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and my body
and my body.
deeply and completely.
It's from the first time.
Hmm.
It's from the first time.
Okay, so let's not go there yet, because we're going to get to that when we get to it, all right? So, but there's a realisation, so see how we've got there, all right? This scared feeling in my tummy,
This scared feeling in my tummy.
this sexual abuse,
This sexual
the
abuse.
first time,
The first time.
thanking my body
Thanking my body
for allowing me to find it
for allowing me to find it,
so that we can process it and let it go.
so that I can process it and let it go.
This scared feeling in my tummy,
This scared feeling, it's like I feel like I'm choking.
this scared feeling that feels like I'm choking,
The scared feeling that feels like I'm choking.
this scared feeling in my tummy and my throat.
And my throat. The scared feeling in my tummy and my throat.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and allow my body to process it
and
and
I
let it
allow
go.
my body to process it
And let it go.
and let it go.
Even when I think of that first time,
Even when I think of that first time.
that sexual abuse memory. Good.
That sexual abuse memory.
Hmm. Processing and letting it go.
Processing and letting it go.
Take a deep breath. Have some more water. So there's a lot of releasing. We haven't even got past the movie title. But see how with the movie title, you can also be accessing everything anyhow.
You moved into that on that round.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Because the movie went from just sexual abuse to the first time.
Good.
So would you prefer to change the movie title to the first time? The first sexual abuse or something? How would you like to make that movie title?
It's still the same to me.
Okay. So when you think about that movie title, sexual abuse, what's it come down to and what are you feeling in your body?
It feels like it's happening.
But we're not. It's not happening. We're not going into the movie right now.
Yeah.
We're here in this room with all this beautiful heart energy. And when you just say the movie title, sexual abuse, what's the title come down to?
No control.
Yeah, but what's the number out of 10?
Oh, it's back up again.
It's back up again. So she's tuning into it,
It's
even though
back
we're
up
not into
again.
it. All right, even though I've got this movie title,
Even though I've got this movie title,
that's gone right up again.
it's gone right up again.
And I feel out of control.
I feel out of control.
I accept myself,
I accept myself,
and I know that I'm safe right here, right now,
and I know I'm very safe right here, right now,
in this beautiful om room
in this beautiful old room.
with
of
all these
goblins.
beautiful people. I accept myself
I accept myself
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
I feel out of control
I feel out of control
when I tune into that memory,
when I tune into that memory,
but I'm just tapping on the title,
but I'm just tapping on
the title of that memory, sexual abuse.
the title of that memory, sexual abuse.
I'm not going into it right now,
I'm not going into it right now,
but I still have that feeling of being out of control,
but I still have that feeling of being out of control.
and I want to let my body know I'm safe.
And I want to let my body know I'm safe.
I'm safe here in this room,
And I'm safe in this room.
tapping on the title, sexual abuse,
Tapping on the title, sexual abuse.
allowing my body to process that.
Allowing my body to process that.
Maybe even processing that out of control feeling.
Maybe even processing that out of control feeling.
Feeling safe here right now.
Feeling safe here right now.
Okay, so take a deep breath. Okay. Have a glass of water, some water. So you can see how she could have gone right into that, but I wanted to bring her back into the safety of now and the title.
And her
Okay.
whole body, her facial
Yeah, it's
expression
like, oh,
changes.
yeah, I'm
She
safe.
actually starts to smile.
Yeah,
You-
yeah,
you
I'm
are
safe here right now. Yep, okay. And that's more gentle than
Yeah.
allowing her to go bang straight into it. All right, so tapping here. When you now think of the movie title, Sexual Abuse, what's that like for you now? What's there for you?
Um,
What's it out of 10?
right down,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
I still feel nauseous
Mhm.
and my muscles are tight.
Okay. So even though there's still some nausea and tight muscles, so
Even though there's still some nausea and tight muscles,
I accept myself
I accept myself
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
Even though there's still some tightness in my body
Even though there's still some tightness in my body
and in my muscles
and in my muscles
and some nausea,
and some nausea,
when I think about the movie title Sexual Abuse,
when I think about the movie title Sexual Abuse,
I accept myself
I accept myself
and all my body's reactions,
and all my body's reactions,
even though I know I'm safe in this room.
even though I know I'm very safe in this room.
Mm-hmm. Processing and releasing the nausea
Processing and releasing the nausea.
and the tension in my muscles,
And the tension in my muscles.
feeling that releasing,
Feeling huge releasing.
allowing myself to feel calm,
Allowing myself to feel calm.
even when I think about that movie title,
Even when I think about that movie title.
Sexual Abuse,
Sexual Abuse.
releasing the tension in my body, my muscles,
Releasing the tension in my muscles.
releasing the nauseous feeling,
Releasing the nauseous feeling.
allowing my body and giving my body permission
Giving my body permission
to feel calm,
to feel calm.
even when I remember the movie title,
Even when I remember the movie title,
Sexual Abuse,
Sexual Abuse.
allowing my body to feel calm.
Allowing my body to feel calm.
So what's the frown from? So you've got to be very aware of body language.
I feel calm, but there's still, it's like it's very small, like instead of a big fist, I've got half a fist.
Okay.
And it's like my rock's this big now.
So even though I've got a small rock,
Even though I've got a small rock,
it's still trapped in my stomach,
still trapped in my stomach,
I accept myself
I accept myself
and the way my body's processing
and
this.
the way my body's processing this.
When I think about the movie title,
When I think about the movie title,
Sexual Abuse,
Sexual Abuse,
even though I've still got a small rock in my tummy,
even though I've still got a small rock in my tummy,
when I think about sexual abuse,
when I think about sexual
the
abuse,
title,
I'm getting my mum didn't protect me.
and I didn't feel my mum protected me,
I didn't feel my mum protected me.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and all my reactions
and all my
and
reactions
all my emotions
and all my emotions
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
Thanking my body for protecting me,
Thanking my body for protecting me.
allowing my body to dissolve this small rock,
Allowing my body to dissolve this small rock that just got smashed right out.
and the feeling that mum didn't protect me
And the feeling that mum didn't protect me.
when I think about this movie title,
When I think about this movie title,
Sexual Abuse,
Sexual Abuse.
this movie title,
This movie title,
Sexual Abuse,
Sexual Abuse.
mum didn't protect me,
Mum didn't protect me.
mum didn't protect me,
Mum didn't protect me.
mum didn't protect me,
Mum didn't protect me.
releasing all my emotions and reactions
Releasing all my emotions and reactions.
around mum didn't protect me.
Mum didn't protect me.
Okay, take a deep breath and some more water. Because we're releasing and processing lots of stuff, it's good to take breaths and have water in between and allowing you to adjust and process. All right, the movie title, Sexual Abuse, what's there for you now out of 10?
I'd say a rock that big.
So it's smaller again.
Yeah, just a small. It feels like it's all dispersed. I feel relaxed. My muscles aren't tight. But that brings it. I feel like I've got a metal cap on my head.
Okay,
That's,
pressing on you.
Yes.
So pressure,
yeah,
pressure of a metal cap
yeah,
and a small stone in your tummy.
yes.
Okay, and what's it come down to out of 10?
Oh, right down. Which part? My stomach, the whole.
Yeah, the whole thing. When
The
you
whole
say
thing.
sexual abuse, the movie title.
I'd say a 3.
Okay, so even though I've got this 3 out of 10,
Even though I've got this 3 out of 10,
feeling in my body,
the feeling in my body.
Like pressure. Yep, like pressure around my throat.
Yeah,
And pressure around my head.
yes,
Like a metal cap.
like a metal cap
And a small stone in my tummy.
and a small stone in my tummy.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and the way my body's processing
and
this.
the way my body's processing this.
I accept myself deeply and completely.
I accept myself deeply and completely.
Even though there's still 3 out of 10. Or is it coming down even more?
Yeah,
What's left? Is it still a metal cap around your head? Or a feeling around your throat?
feels like a marble now.
Mm-hmm.
My throat, like someone's pressing in here, constricting my throat.
Yep.
And the metal cap's gone. It just feels like a band across here.
So even though I've got a band across my forehead,
Even though I've got a band across my forehead,
and it feels like someone's pressing in on my throat,
and it feels like someone's pressing me on my throat,
and I've got a marble in my tummy,
and I've got a marble in my tummy.
when I think about this sexual abuse title,
When I think about this sexual abuse title,
I accept myself
I accept myself
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
I've got pressure on my forehead.
I've got pressure on my forehead. No, I haven't. I've just got
On my temples.
on my temples.
This pressure on my temples.
I've got pressure on my temples.
Releasing it.
Releasing it,
Allowing my body to process it.
allowing my body to process it.
And this marble in my tummy.
And this marble in my tummy.
And this feeling of somebody pressing on my throat.
And this feeling of someone pressing on my throat.
Allowing my body to process it.
Allowing my body to process it
And release it.
and release it.
Giving my body permission
Giving my body permission
to process it and let it go.
to process it and let it go.
Even when I think about the movie title,
Even think when I think about the movie title,
sexual abuse,
sexual abuse,
releasing the pressure from my temples,
releasing the pressure from my temples,
the marble from my tummy,
the marble's nicked off,
and the pressure on my throat.
and there's still the pressure on my throat.
Releasing this pressure on my throat.
Releasing this pressure on my throat.
Thanking my throat for holding on to it to protect me.
Thank you for my throat for holding on to it for protection.
But it's time to process it and let it go.
But it's time to process it, let it go, nick off.
And all the emotions and reactions trapped there.
And every one of the emotions that are trapped there,
Releasing them now.
release them all now.
Okay, so take a deep breath. So the marble nicked off. The temple's okay now.
Just feels like here, if you're just putting pressure, no rock, no nothing,
Yeah.
no weight,
Just
it
a
just
little bit.
feels like a little bit of pressure.
Yep.
The head's gone.
Right.
Throat's still a little bit of constriction, and this isn't pain now. It's just sort of a bit of as if I was pressing on my temples.
Okay. And what's it out of 10?
Oh, you've got down again. It'd
Yeah.
have to be 2.
So even though I've got this remaining 2 feeling in my body,
Even though I've got this remaining 2 feeling in my body,
pressure on my temples and my throat,
pressure on my temples and my throat,
and light pressure, finger pressure in my tummy,
light finger pressure in my tummy,
I accept myself
I accept myself
and the way my body's processing this sexual abuse
and the way my body's processing this sexual abuse.
movie title.
Movie title, something just dispersed, you could feel it in my stomach.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and the way my body's processing this.
and the way my body's processing this.
Allowing my body to process the remaining pressure
Allowing my body to process the remaining pressure
on my temples and my throat.
on my temples and my throat.
Allowing my body to feel calm.
Allowing my body to feel calm.
Allowing my body to feel peace
Allowing my body to feel peace
as I dissolve the remaining pressure.
as I dissolve the remaining pressure.
Even when I think about the movie title,
Even when I think about the movie title,
sexual abuse.
sexual abuse,
Mum didn't protect me.
Mum didn't protect me.
I was scared.
I was scared. Releasing all the pressure.
Allowing my body to feel calm.
Allowing my body to feel calm.
So that feels a bit better, doesn't it?
Oh my bloody word!
see the changes moving.
Oh my God.
So that was good. I like the way you process stuff in your body. It's very evident. That's nicked off now. That's gone now. That's great.
That's been
All right.
around for 50 years.
Yeah, well, it's good to get rid of that. And that's only on the movie title. So let's get into the movie. All right. So starting at a neutral place. So you said it brought back the first time.
Yes.
How old are you?
4.
4. And where's the neutral place just before this occurs?
What do you mean?
Somewhere where you're safe before this happens.
I was with my mum and dad.
Okay, so what
At
room?
Moomba.
At Moomba?
At Moomba with my mum and dad.
And where were you? Just watching the parade? That's a neutral place, or where were you? What's a neutral place?
No recall beforehand.
Okay, so let's just make it up. And a safe
Ice
neutral
cream.
place, having ice cream.
Wanted an ice cream. That was beforehand. I wanted
So
an
here-
ice
so
cream
here I
from
am.
the ice cream van.
All right, so here I am at Moomba with Mum and Dad,
Yep,
enjoying myself on
Yeah.
4,
yep,
wanting to have an ice cream from the ice cream van.
yep,
All right, so that's a good neutral place, all right?
yep.
And what happened next? The very first thing that is part of the trauma, sexual abuse.
I'm standing in the queue at the ice cream van and we're crowded in, you can't move, and I can't see anything because I'm smaller, and someone's come up behind me and feeling me up all over.
What's that feel like in your body as soon as you say that?
Oh, tense.
Okay.
I couldn't speak.
What's it out of 10?
Oh, 20.
So stop there. Even though I've got this memory,
Even though I've got this
see how
memory,
tense she is? All this tension in my body,
all this tension in my body,
this 4-year-old tension in my body,
this 4-year-old tension in my body,
still trapped there.
still trapped there.
As I remember this person feeling me all up and down,
As I remember this person feeling me all up and down,
feeling scared,
feeling petrified,
feeling frozen.
frozen, couldn't speak.
I couldn't speak. I accept myself
I accept myself
and all these reactions in my body,
and all these reactions in my body,
and let my body know it's time to process and release them.
and let my body know it's time to process and release them.
This 4-year-old frozen terror
This 4-year-old frozen terror,
still trapped in my body.
still trapped in my body.
I couldn't speak.
I couldn't speak.
So small.
So small,
I couldn't see around me.
I couldn't see around me.
Someone feeling me up and down.
Someone feeling me up and down. I just froze. I
This
couldn't
frozen terror in my body.
move. I just couldn't move.
I couldn't move. Processing and releasing that frozen terror
Processing and releasing that frozen terror
from that 4-year-old
from that 4-year-old
that's still trapped in my body.
that's still trapped in my body.
Stepping into that 4-year-old and tapping on her. Tapping on her, all that frozen terror. Allowing her to discharge that from her body. She couldn't speak. She couldn't see. She was frozen in terror. And she couldn't speak. Tapping on her to release it all. Letting her know she's safe. Tapping on her to release all that frozen terror trapped in her body. She couldn't speak. She couldn't control it. She was so scared.
So scared.
Tapping on her. See, she couldn't talk. She was the 4-year-old who couldn't talk. Releasing it all that terror from that 4-year-old. Letting her know she's safe.
Letting her know she's safe.
Tapping all that terror out of her body.
Tapping all that terror out of her body.
Allowing her to feel safe.
Allowing her to feel safe.
All that tension in her body.
All that tension in her body.
All that tension in her throat.
All that tension in her throat.
That frozen, scared feeling.
That horrible frozen scared feeling.
Tapping it out of her body.
Tapping it out of her body.
Tapping it out of my body.
Tapping it out of my body.
It's been trapped there for too long.
It's been trapped there forever.
And I give my body permission to release it.
And I give my body permission to release it.
All the way back to that 4-year-old.
All the way back to that 4-year-old.
Letting her know she's safe.
Letting her know she's safe.
I'm there with her.
I'm there with her.
keeping her safe.
Keeping her safe.
Releasing all that tension
Releasing all that tension
out of my body.
out of my body.
So you can see that she's relaxing now. Water. So you see when we tuned into that 4-year-old, she couldn't speak. So I just spoke for her and kept tapping. And that's important to keep tapping. Okay?
But you can see the relief in the face.
Yes.
You've lost some wrinkles.
Isn't that great? We left them back with the 4-year-old. Alright, so keep tapping. We're going back to the neutral plane. So here you are at Moomba.
Sorry, no, I sneeze.
Oh, that's all right.
You released the 4-year-old and the one here.
Yes, we're releasing both. Here you are at Moomba with your parents and you want to have an ice cream from the ice cream trunk, like most 4-year-olds want to do. And you're in the line and then someone starts feeling you up and you can't see out, you're only little and you freeze in terror. How's she feeling now? Can't find it anymore. Not there?
Just a little bit of nausea.
So even though I've got this little bit of nausea
Even though I've got this little bit of nausea
that's still processing out of my body,
that's still processing out of my body,
I give my body permission to process it.
I give my body mega permission to process it.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and my 4-year-old self
and my 4-year-old self
and give my body permission to release it all.
and give my body permission to release it all.
This remaining nausea
This remaining nausea
in my body,
in my body,
in that 4-year-old's body,
in that 4-year-old's body,
allowing her to process it and let it go.
allowing her to process it and let it go,
Letting her know she's safe.
letting her know she's safe,
Letting her know I'm there with her to keep her safe.
letting her know I'm there with her to keep her safe.
Energetically from the future,
Energetically for the future,
I'm keeping her safe.
I'm keeping her safe.
Allowing her to release that scared, nauseous energy
Allowing her to release that scared, nauseous energy
out of her body and out of mine.
out of her body and out of mine.
It's been trapped in our bodies for far too long.
Been trapped for far too long in our bodies.
Giving our bodies permission
Giving our bodies permission
to feel peace.
to feel peace.
Releasing the remaining scared, nauseous feeling. There's from releasing to out of the throat. Feeling peace. Allow myself to feel peace.
Allow myself to feel peace.
Feeling the peace and the love energy in the room.
And feeling the peace and all the love energy in the room.
And sending it all the way back to that 4-year-old.
And sending it all the way back to that 4-year-old.
Calming any remaining nausea
Calming any remaining nausea
in her body and mine.
in her body and mind.
You can feel it in the room, can't you? So when you tune back now, here you are at Moomba, back to the neutral place. We're at Moomba with Mum and Dad, 4-year-old, wanting to have an ice cream at the ice cream truck. She's really little, she can't see out, and somebody starts feeling her up and down. How is she now? In your body? You can see the peace and the calmness, that's gone. And what happened next?
Next incidents, you mean?
No, after that. After being felt up and down, anything more happen after that?
I tried to tell my parents,
Mm-hmm.
not straight away,
Mm-hmm.
because I just felt terror. I just felt terror.
So tuning to that moment in time when you tried to tell your parents and that terror, what's that feel like? So even though I tried to tell my parents. So say that, even though I couldn't tell my parents,
I couldn't tell my parents.
I was filled with terror
I was filled with terror,
and the words wouldn't come out.
and the words wouldn't come out.
I accept myself
And I accept myself
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
See, that coughing may have already released that. I couldn't tell my parents.
I couldn't tell my parents.
I wanted to tell them,
I wanted to tell them,
but nothing would come out.
but nothing would come out.
I was filled with terror.
I was filled with terror. And when I did, they said rubbish.
And when I did,
And when I did,
they said rubbish.
They said rubbish.
And how did she feel then when they said rubbish?
Very confused.
This confused feeling.
Confused.
Let's go back to karate chop points. Another aspect. Even though this 4-year-old felt really confused,
Even though this 4-year-old felt really confused.
when she finally told her parents,
When she finally told her parents.
and they said it was rubbish,
And they said it was rubbish.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and my 4-year-old self,
and my 4-year-old self.
and I want to release any remaining feelings
And I want to release any remaining feelings
trapped in her body
trapped in her body.
and my body,
Trapped in her body and my body.
trapped in my throat,
Trapped in my throat.
feelings and reactions
Feelings and reactions.
to Mum and Dad's words.
To Mum and
Mum's.
Dad. They
Both.
didn't believe me.
They didn't believe me. They said it was rubbish.
They didn't believe me. They said it was rubbish.
Releasing my reactions,
Releasing my reactions.
my disappointment
My disappointment
when I heard them say,
when I heard them say,
that's rubbish.
that's rubbish.
My disappointment,
My disappointment.
my confusion.
My confusion.
They didn't believe me.
They didn't believe me.
Releasing all my reactions.
Releasing all my reactions.
They didn't believe me.
They didn't believe me.
I was only 4.
I was only 4.
Releasing any remaining reactions and emotions.
Releasing any remaining actions and emotions.
When I remember hearing them say,
When I remember hearing them say,
that's rubbish.
that's rubbish.
They didn't believe me.
They didn't believe me.
They didn't believe me.
They didn't believe me.
Releasing my reactions.
Releasing my reactions.
Releasing my disappointment. What's going on?
I didn't tell them.
You didn't tell them.
I didn't tell them. I didn't tell
See
them.
how the cognitive shift, and this is when the realization of what we call
I've got no
of the cognitive thoughts being different. Change to what? It's not a cognitive shift. It's a realization that actually I didn't tell them.
I didn't tell them.
I thought I'd told them, and I thought there'd be disappointment, but I didn't tell them.
I didn't
See that huge cognitive shift?
Or
That's
could have
the
been a
aha.
capsule.
No, this is I didn't actually tell them.
I didn't tell them. I don't remember ever telling them.
Yeah. So even though
My
mind played tricks on me,
mind played tricks on me.
I thought I told them.
I thought I told them.
I thought they'd said it was rubbish,
I thought they said it was rubbish.
but now I realise I didn't even tell them.
Now I realise I didn't even tell them.
And I had that energy trapped in my body
And I had that energy trapped in my body
all this time.
all this time.
I give my body permission to release it.
I give my body permission to release it.
Thank you, my body, for sorting it out,
Oh, thank you very much, my body, for sorting it out.
for setting me straight now.
For setting me straight now.
All that disappointment I had,
All that disappointment I had,
I hadn't even told them.
I hadn't even told them.
I was so scared.
I was so scared.
Releasing all my reactions,
Releasing all my reaction,
all my emotions.
all my emotion.
What's the frown for now? What's come up?
When my grandfather was molesting me, I tried to tell them, and I was very loud about it.
Uh-huh.
They wouldn't have it. Every Saturday night I had to stay with my grandfather while they went out,
Yeah,
and I was terrified.
yeah. So
And
that's where it's gone to now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So see how it's gone to another movie. Yep. So let's finish it off. Even though I've got this memory that's come up now
Even though I've got this memory that's come up now
about my grandfather
about my grandfather
and how he molested me,
and how he molested me.
and every Saturday night, was it?
Yeah, every Saturday night
I had to stay with him,
I had to stay with him.
and I told my parents
I told my parents
very loudly,
very loudly,
and they didn't believe me.
and they didn't believe me.
I accept myself,
I accept myself.
and the way they didn't protect me,
I didn't say why. I just said go off my nut and say I didn't want to stay with him all the time. Once again, I couldn't speak up. I didn't say why.
okay, I accept myself
I accept myself
that I was too scared
that I was too scared
to say why.
to say why.
I accept my fear
I accept my fear
and all my reactions and
and all
emotions.
my reactions and emotions.
I told them very loudly I didn't want to stay with him.
I told them very loudly, I'd scream it,
Hmm.
that I didn't want to stay
Yeah.
with him.
I'd scream at them.
I'd scream at them.
I don't want to stay with him.
I don't want to stay with them.
I don't want to stay with him.
I don't want to stay with him.
But I never said why.
But I never said why.
I never told them why.
I never told them why.
All my fears,
All my fears,
all my reactions.
all my reactions.
I never told them why.
I never told them why.
All my emotions trapped in my body.
All my emotions trapped in my body.
All my anger.
All my anger.
All my beliefs that they didn't protect me.
All my beliefs that they didn't protect me.
I never told them why.
I never told them why.
I was so scared.
I was so scared, terrified.
I was so terrified.
I was so terrified.
Every Saturday night,
Every Saturday night,
having to stay at my grandfather's.
having to stay with my grandfather.
I never told them why.
I never told them why.
I just screamed at them, I don't want to go.
I just screamed at them, I wouldn't want to stay.
I wonder what would have happened if I had have told them why.
I wonder what would... I was scared. My dad, because it was my grandfather, he'd kill him.
I was scared my dad would kill him.
I was scared my dad would kill him.
I was scared my dad would kill him.
And I didn't know it was what was going on until I got bigger.
Yeah,
It started from young.
yeah. I didn't know what was going on.
I didn't know what was going on. I carried a bit of guilt. For me, it tickled. All I knew was it tickled.
Okay, even though all I knew was
Even though all I knew was
it tickled.
it tickled.
I didn't know what was going on till
I
later.
didn't know what was going on till later.
And I was scared Dad was going to kill him if I told.
And I was scared Dad would kill him when I realised what was going on. If I spoke up, he would kill him.
Yeah.
And then it was too late. My grandfather was doing it. My uncle was doing it. And
All-
my grandfather lived with us, and my uncle lived over the back fence.
So all this fear
So all this fear
of my grandfather living with us,
of my grandfather living with us,
my uncle over the fence,
and my uncle over the fence,
I was too scared to speak up.
I was too scared to speak up.
I accept myself and all my fear
I accept myself and all my fear,
and feeling of being out of control,
and feeling of being very out of control,
all alone
all alone,
and helpless.
and very helpless.
I accept myself deeply and completely.
I accept myself deeply and completely.
I was so helpless,
I was so helpless,
out of control.
out of control.
I was scared if I told,
I was scared if I told,
my dad would kill him,
my dad would kill both of them.
both of them. All the guilt I had,
All the guilt I had,
all the fear I had,
all the fear I had,
feeling trapped and helpless.
feeling very trapped and helpless.
I want to release that from my body now.
I'd love to release it all from my body now.
Releasing it and processing it.
Releasing it and processing it.
All that fear,
All that fear,
feeling trapped,
feeling trapped,
out of control.
very out of control.
All the fear,
All the fear,
out of control.
out of control.
It's time to process and release it all.
It's time to process and release it all, for God's sake.
All around my grandfather
All around my grandfather,
and my uncle,
around my uncle,
and my fear that Dad would kill them both.
and my fear that Dad would kill them both.
All my guilt,
All my guilt,
releasing it all.
releasing it all.
So take a deep breath. So we've sort of gone from the movie technique into some more general stuff, but I didn't want to leave it there. Okay. So when you tune into your body now, and we'll go back to the beginning. So there's a 4-year-old at Moomba with mum and dad wanting an ice cream, and somebody feeling her up and down. How's that? Anything there? Nothing? Good. And then staying with Grandpa on a Saturday night. There's still some stuff there.
Didn't think he would ever do it in front of anybody else.
Mhm.
Had a girlfriend to sleep over, and he made her, he coached her with cash for her to look through the peacock.
Okay, so this is a whole new movie technique that I want you to work on with somebody next.
Yeah.
So this is a whole new movie. So see how we've gone into a whole new movie, and that movie title would be,
And then
you know, the peak hole or something.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you wanted to
Or,
create it as.
Leanne.
Yeah.
I'd call it.
Yeah, so that's a whole new movie, but that's what you would do then, is start at a neutral place and then create this as a whole new movie
And just
and
keep
work through
working
that.
through.
And that's what you do, is get to the specifics of the big things of each movie. But see how what we did was the sexual abuse in the first one,
Yeah,
where it started, how that's gone now.
yeah.
And as you go through each one, and you won't have to go through all of them, the body will generalise out and clear them,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And see how you can see in her energy how much more calm she is already.
Oh, the feeling of the dispersion is just
Yeah.
better than alpha.
That's good. Because even thinking about now, the Leanne movie, did you say you're
Yes.
going to call it? What is it out of 10 now, just thinking about it? I'd assume it'd be a lot less than what it would have been beforehand.
Oh, yeah, 3.
Yeah, see, so it's
Three.
already starting to generalise out,
Yeah.
because before I would assume it would have been like 20 out of 10, like the other one. So it's already starting to generalise out, but to round it off and finish it all off, that's what you work with someone else next, okay?
It's amazing.
Isn't that good?
So Jenny, how would your role playing face her as the client finishing her off for the session?
Okay, so we do a sneaking way. Even though there's still more to do,
Even though there's still more to do,
and I've come such a long way already,
and I've come such a long way already, and I'm so glad that I found Jen.
and I'm so glad that I volunteered to be the demonstration. I accept myself
I accept myself
and the way my body's feeling right now,
and the way my body's feeling right now.
and I'm excited to work on the next bit.
I'm excited and can't wait to do the rest.
Yeah, the onion's peeling really well,
Oh, my goodness, yes, the onions peeling well.
and I've got through a whole lot of stuff already,
And I've got through a whole lot of stuff already.
and I'm feeling really great right now.
I'm feeling a bit more than great.
Mm-hmm. Good. And I'm looking forward to processing and releasing even more from the Leanne movie,
And I can't wait to process more from the Leanne movie.
and anything else that comes up.
And all the rest of my crap.
And I choose to feel this really great feeling.
And I choose to feel this really great feeling.
I started
because
this. Yep.
I know that if I can dump this stuff, that I'm going to be dynamic.
Yes, an even better practitioner. And I started this at 20 out of 10, and look at me now.
And I started this at 20 out of 10, and look at me now.
Feeling great.
Oh, feeling good. Is it time to go to the pub?